The most basic of magics available in Dungeons & Dragons, Prestidigitation is a fun little starter spell that packs a surprising amount of utility. It's a cantrip available to bards, sorcerers, warlocks, wizards, and artificers that causes one of 6 small magical effects: creating a harmless sensory effect, lighting or snuffing a small flame, cleaning or soiling a small object, chilling, warming, or flavoring a small amount of non-living material for 1 hour, marking a small object or surface for 1 hour, or creating a handheld, non-magical trinket or illusory image until the end of your next turn. You can have up to 3 continuous effects, options 4 and 5, active at one time, and may dismiss such an effect as an action. If you're curious about what Prestidigitation means, its etymology comes from nimble fingers, and it is defined as a sleight of hand magic trick. Before I get started on ways to use Prestidigitation, note that the subtle spell meta magic will make a lot of these tricks more viable or potent. If bystanders are present, the minor magical trick will seem much more impressive or realistic without you speaking magic words and waving your arms around. And in some cases, these tricks just straight up won't work unless you can remove the spell's verbal and somatic components with subtle spell, especially considering that the range of Prestidigitation is a measly 10 feet. With that out of the way, let's go over fun ways to use each of Prestidigitation's possible effects, starting with the ability to create a sensory effect. Create a distraction by creating a sound, odor, or visual that draws the attention of bystanders. Foul a room's smell to clear it out, giving your party a free hand to investigate it without any onlookers. Conjure the sound of approaching footsteps so as to draw attention, intimidate, or otherwise distract someone. Boost a performance check by adding a fireworks show to your bard's song. Create fart sounds and smells to embarrass someone, create a distraction, or play a harmless prank. Create a pleasant smell to avoid the deleterious effects of bad smells, like a troglodyte stench effect. Heavily DM dependent, but you might get advantage on the save at least. Draw a crowd, like Gandalf with his fireworks. What you do after this is up to you. Give a speech, have the rogue go around picking pockets, just be sure to keep the magic tricks up to keep their attention. Gen Z villagers and their TikTok. Create the scent of rotting corpses to make guards or townspeople suspicious that someone's a necromancer or a murderer. Conjure sound effects to enhance your performance or make it sound like a crowd is cheering for you, or ruin the performance of someone else. Create the scent of smoke to cause a disturbance or clear out an area for fear of a fire. Add the sounds of crackling flames and heat the room's door handle to really sell the whole thing. Sound a signal, either with a sound or sparks that others can hear or see from a distance. Next up, a few ways to use Prestidigitation's second bullet point, lighting or snuffing a small flame. Darken the room, a good trick to get advantage on attacks and disadvantage on incoming attacks if your party has dark vision but enemies don't. Light explosives from afar. 10 feet isn't very far, but it might help you keep safer to get a 10-foot head start running from the fuse you've just lit. Ditch your tinderbox. Seriously, who needs that normie survival gear when you've got magical fire fingers? Be sneaky. With the ability to quickly turn your torch and or candle on and off at will, you can always turn the lights out when you fear that enemies might spot you from a distance. On to Prestidigitation's third bullet point, cleaning or soiling a small object. Get grime off your gear. Fighting is dirty work and nobody wants to show up in town covered in blood. Makes people wary that you are murderers rather than noble adventurers. Embarrass someone by making it look like they had an accident in their pants. Pair this with some fake sounds and scents to match, and you might even convince the person themselves that they've had a whoopsie. Clean a blood trail to make it harder for people in the area to track you after you've done your dirty work. Make bloodstains, either to sell a fake corpse or to set people on the scene on a false trail. Create a false trail of footprints to get witnesses looking in the wrong direction or put pursuers off your trail. Help sell a disguise by making your outfit look appropriately dirty, bloody, intimidating, or whatever you need. Remove dirt from a soiled document so that you can read it properly. Soil a document or map so that nobody can read it if it's taken from you. Then clean it off later when it needs to be read. Remove the blood or iconography from a summoning ritual to prevent it from working. Clean stuff like laundry, windows, floors, or whatever else needs cleaning in order to make money during downtime. Next up, Prestidigitation's fourth bullet point, chilling, warming, or flavoring a small object for an hour. Dry out wet objects or clothes quickly so you don't leave a trail or suffer from hypothermia. Heat up cold food or cool down hot food. Why even make a fire when you can reheat your stew with your magic hands? Accidentally make a stew that's too hot? Cool it down with Prestidigitation. Hide the taste of booze to get creatures drunk, as part of a larger plan to make them look foolish or put them to sleep so that your party can get up to whatever shenanigans they're getting up to undisturbed. You can also do the reverse to cheat in a drinking contest. Improve the taste of bad rations. Hey, not everyone likes eating hardtack and jerky every meal of the day. Disguise the taste of poison or rotten food to get someone sick, kill them, or get an early advantage in a fight. Make good food or drink taste bad, to ruin someone you don't like's day or possibly cause a scene when they go to complain. Or maybe get a discount if you do this to a small portion of your own meal. Make bad food or drink taste good, to upsell your crappy meals or beverages. Counteract environmental conditions. like cooling down your clothes if you're too hot or heating them up if you're too cold. This one's really DM dependent, but it might get you advantage on any saves related to adverse conditions. On to Prestidigitation's 5th bullet point, marking an object or surface for 1 hour. Leave messages by assigning meanings to small symbols that others in your network will understand. Mark a trail to let people following you know which way to go. Great if you're scouting out an area ahead of defenseless NPCs, or so that you yourself don't get lost in a labyrinthine environment. Fake a seal, sigil, or symbol so that you can gain an audience with an otherwise unreachable noble or ruler. Cheat at cards by altering the symbol on a card to give yourself a better hand. Note this one absolutely requires Subtle Spell to actually do at the table. Alter your clothing's color scheme so you don't have to shop for dozens of copies of the same shirt or invest in dye. Conjure a fake mustache or beard, although it might look like a silly drawn-on Halloween costume. Mark time by giving a separated party member a marked item and keeping one marked item for the rest of your party. That way you can both know exactly when an hour has passed. That can be a trigger to put your plan into action. Make a fake glyph of warding or symbol spell to intimidate Arcana-aware enemies from pursuing you or at least slow them down. Send semaphore messages from a long distance by changing the color of a flag to indicate various meanings like need help or delay the attack. And finally, Prestidigitation's 6th bullet point, creating a trinket or illusory image. DMs have final say over what counts as a non-magical trinket, but the Sage Advice Compendium recommends using the trinkets table in the player's handbook for examples. Anyway, here are some ideas for this use of Prestidigitation. Create the image of a creature you are looking for. Super simple way to make a very quick wanted poster whenever you're conducting an investigation. Conjure a fake MacGuffin before quickly stuffing it in your pocket to trick someone into thinking that you already have it, or just to show them what it is you are looking for. Summon a miniature image of a room's layout before entering, so that your party knows what to expect after you've scouted it out with a familiar or some other remote viewing power. Make a compass to quickly orient yourself. Make a mirror to quickly look around corners. Make a glass orb to smash on the ground and cause a scene. Doubly so once all the pieces disappear moments later. Create a duplicate signet ring to reseal a letter that you've surreptitiously opened. Replicate a guard's badge to quickly flash and gain entrance somewhere before stuffing it in your pocket. Subtle spell definitely required. Make a key. This one's slightly contentious since the trinket only lasts a few seconds and some keys are complex enough to possibly go beyond trinket status. But if it's a simple key and you have the keen mind feat, I think it works just fine. You could even keep a lockbox that has no key, besides the one only you can summon. So there you have it, 52 ways to use Prestidigitation in your next D&D game. By now I'm sure you know how I'll answer, but let's ask the question anyway. Is Prestidigitation a good spell? Yes, Prestidigitation is a great spell. Of all the non-combat utility cantrips, Prestidigitation has the greatest potential in variety of uses. So much so that I've heard it described as minor wish. Just don't try to push its power to ridiculous levels. Remember that it's just a cantrip and shouldn't step on the toes of higher level to transmutation or illusion spells. That being said, there are literally thousands of uses for Prestidigitation. This video only covers a fraction of the potential situation-specific ideas you could come up with. The only limit is your imagination, and your DM's discretion. Anyway, what are your favorite uses of Prestidigitation? I'd love to hear your best stories from your games in the comments, seeing as this cantrip usually generates some of the most memorable moments in D&D. Anyway, this is D&D Lounge, wishing you the best of luck in your next spellcasting venture.